Hello again. Here we go with the first exercise on a sketch. In this exercise, we will make this sketch. We will do it in two ways. So let's start with the first one. It's very important all the time to pick the right starting point. Any point you want could be a good starting point. There's nothing wrong. But in this case, let's start here. We have this line with 75 units length. Pick a line from the ribbon and draw any line. Then hit the escape button to exit the command. Now, as you can see here, this line is horizontal and this point lies on the origin here. So, the first thing is that this line is horizontal, then select this point and select this point, then make coincident. Finally, we need to define this length, which is 75. Then click zoom to fit. Now, after that, we have this inclined line and it's connected to this one. So start with this line. When you start here, this will be like as defining a coincident relation. Let's see the difference. If you start a line here, then you will need to pick this point and this point, then to merge them. So instead of doing this, and to save this step, you can simply move the mouse here until you see this symbol, then draw your line. Now this length is 40 and this angle is 30. So this length is 40, and let's define the angle now. If you keep the mouse here, you will have this value, but if you move it here, you will have this value. So move it here and type in 30. After that, we have a vertical line and the length is 20. Then we have this line and this line. Notice that this line is 20 units in length and the angle is 20 here. So we draw this line, and the first thing is that this line and this line are equal. Now to define the angle, you cannot draw a line here and set the angle between it and this line. But since we have this line, which is parallel to this one, it will be the same result. So forget about this and define the angle between these. Now, as you can see, set this angle to 20. Here we go. Now, we have another line here, the same thing, and the same length. So this one and this one are equal, and we need to define another angle, which is 20. Then 25, 10, 10. So let's draw this. Now this line and this line are equal. Then we have this line, and this time we are given the horizontal and the vertical projection, 20 and 30. So set this value to 20. And this one, sorry, do it again, and this one to 30. Now we need to close the sketch, so simply pick a line here, start from the origin, move the mouse until you get here, and set this line to be horizontal. This was a quicker practice, but honestly this way is not a practical way to create your drawings. Now let's see something different. Hit Ctrl A and delete. Now, instead of sketching line by line and setting dimensions for every line, we can sketch a big part of the drawing, then later on we can set the dimensions. But it's very important always to define the first dimension. Like, I don't want you to do this. And the reason is that now if you try to set this dimension, as you can see, it's 144. So sometimes it may be 1000, for example. So when you modify it after you have all these entities here, they will get there will be some intersections, and the drawing will not keep the shape you already did. So the right way to do it, always set the first dimension. This will make the scale of your drawing something very close to what you want, then you can proceed. So this will be 75 now. Now let's proceed with this shape. So now we know that we need to go this way, then this way, I think something like this. Now let's set some relations. Here we have 40 with 30, so we set this dimension to 40 and we set this angle to 30. This dimension is 20 and these three lines are equal. Here's what I'm talking about. As you see now, the shape is not the same, so it's very important to set the first dimension. Set these all to equal, and now this angle is 20 and this angle is 22. Now let's go back here. We have a horizontal line, then vertical. So this is our horizontal line, and this one should be somewhere here. You can drag them easily. Now this one is 25, then 10 by 10. So now 25, 10, and then make these equal. Now we have this one. Remember, this is 20, and here this is 30. Finally, this line should be vertical. As you can see, we have a fully defined sketch. Everything is black, and this is a faster way and more practical way to do sketches. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next exercise. Hello again. In this video, we will sketch this drawing. We will have more focus on using relations. So, as we earlier said, it's very important to define the starting point. In this case, it could be this point. So, let's start with this line. And give it the following dimension. Now we have this shape. Let's try to sketch it. Now let's analyze some relations here. As you can see, these lines are horizontal, and this one are vertical. These two lines are perpendicular to each other, since we have this angle here, and this point are vertical to each other, and it's the same for these points here. So now, let's set these points, make vertical, and the same here. Now, this line and this line are perpendicular, and now it's the time to set some dimensions. So the overall height is 100. So now let's set this to 100. If you face this problem, you can drag this and modify it, but let's do something different now. It's always better to start listing dimensions from bottom to top if you're building your model this way. Like, in here, let's start with these dimensions. Then finally, we will end it with this one. So this one is 18 and this is 3. Now just to drag these, and this one is a 3, and this width is 5. Now, as you can see, these lines are equal in length. Now we have this dimension from this line up to this one is 47.5. So from here up to here, 47.5. Finally, let's set this one, which is 100. Now everything is black but this point. Let's proceed. So now we will sketch the same thing again here. Let's talk about something new. We will draw this profile, but now let's create some dimensions while sketching the profile. Like if I make this line, then as you can see I have this relation now. This line will always be vertical and this one will always be horizontal. The same with this one. When you move it this way, this line, you can tell that now we have a perpendicular relation between this line and this one, since when I do like this, the other line color changes. So place this one, then finish. Now this line should be vertical and this one is already horizontal. We need to set some relations now. So this width is 10 and this is 5. So let's set this to 10 and this to 5. Now this point and this point should always be horizontal. This length is 65. So from this point to this point, now we have this length, which is 35. Finally, this line and this line should be equal, and this point make horizontal. Zoom to fit, and as you can see we have a fully defined sketch. It's very important to use relations while sketching in some cases. It's a good time saver. Thanks for watching and see you in the next exercise. Hello again. Here we go with another exercise. In this exercise, we will sketch this drawing. So let's analyze this drawing before we start. So we have these two circles. They share the same center. And then we have this line, which is tangent to this point, and the length from here up to here is the same from here up to here. Then we have a vertical, then horizontal lines. Then everything is symmetric about an axis here. So let's see how we can create this in SolidWorks in two ways. First of all, let's start with these two circles. The first diameter is 4 and the second diameter is 6. So sketch the first circle and give it a diameter so the scale will be close. And now sketch another one and give it the diameter of 7. Now this circle hold control and this circle are concentric. And since we need this to be a fully defined, we need it to be on the origin, or we can relate it by x and y distances. So to save steps, you can select this point and select this point, then make coincident, or alternatively, I will hit Ctrl Z now to undo. You can select this point, hold, and move it until it snaps to the relation here. Didn't. Now, as you can see, we have this small symbol, which means coincident, and now we have a fully defined two circles. Then we have this line. So draw a line here, and we know that this line is tangent to this circle. Now, it doesn't touch the circle, but its extension is tangent, as you can see here. Now, select this point, hold Ctrl, select the circle, and make coincident. Then, we have this line here. The total length is 10. So, let's create a midpoint line. And now, this point, the midpoint, should all the time be vertical with this one, and this line should be tangent to this line. And finally, the total length is 10. Now, as you can see, we need to connect these points here. So select this point, hold Ctrl, select this one, then merge. Now, let's sketch this profile. Now, this line is horizontal, and this one is horizontal too, but these points should be horizontal, and this line is horizontal too. Now it's the time to set some dimensions. So this is 2.5, and it's equal to this one. Now this distance from here to here is 1.5. So the horizontal projection of this line is 1.5. And we need to set this angle, which is 45, and this height is 2.5, which is equal to this one. So now select this and this, then make equal. Now let's set these two lines to be equal, and finally we need to draw a line here and then make it tangent. Now you have two options. The first one is to drag this point, then to trim it like this, or I will hit Ctrl Z, simply to select this point, hold Ctrl, this circle, then coincident. As you can see, we have a fully defined sketch now. Let's do it in a faster way. So now, let's start with these two circles. Start from the origin. There's no need to start away. Let's pick a normal line and move the mouse here until you snap to the quadrant point. Then draw a horizontal line. Then, without exiting the command, move the mouse here until you get this relation, tangent and coincident. Then exit. Now, this dimension should be 5. And as you see, we have a fully defined sketch. Now let's go with this part. This point and this point should be vertical. Now, this is 2.5 as we did, and this one should be equal. This projection is 1.5, and the angle here is 45. We have a fully defined sketch now. Let's draw a center line here, and then select mirror entities, select this line, and these. Then we need to mirror this about this line. Then hit OK. As you can see, we have a fully defined sketch. So this is another way of making this sketch. It's very important to apply both ways. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next exercise. Hello again. Here we go with another example. In this example, we'll draw this sketch. So we will start with big circle, and we will have another one here. Then we will have these circles. So the first radius is 39.5. So hit Ctrl A, then delete to clear the screen. So here we go with the first circle. So here we have the value of the radius, which is 39.5. So this will be 39.5 multiplied by 2. Zoom out, and then we have another circle here, and it will be 15.5 multiplied by 2. Now, as you can see here, we have a tangent line to the circle, and it goes all the way up to the end, and the same here. So pick a line and move the mouse over the circle until you get this quadrant point. Then use it to draw a horizontal line, and do the same here. Now select Trim Entities, trim these, and trim these. Now let's sketch these circles. We have the radius of 5, and as you can see, the distance here is 55. So sketch a circle and then make it vertical with the origin, and then set this distance to 55 over 2. And finally, this diameter should be 10. So now there's no need to redraw this here and here. So let's go to circular sketch pattern. So this will be my point here, and I need to pattern this 360. The number is 4. Go all the way down and select instances to skip, and this time skip this one. Then hit OK. This sketch is not fully defined. We have a problem here. I try to drag this here, and as you can see, the point of revolution is not coincident with the origin. So now select this point, hold Ctrl, select the origin, and then make coincident. Now everything is fine. That was it for this exercise. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next exercise. Hello again. Here we go with another exercise. As you can see here, we have two circles. We have these tangent lines, and we have this slot. So let's start here. The best starting point will be the center of this circle. So as you can see, this diameter is 28 and this diameter is 40. Let's start with a circle, and this should be 28. Now drag this and then zoom to fit. Now offset, and this time select 6 and select this circle. Then make sure add dimensions is selected, then hit OK. Now the offset value is 6 because this is 28. You will have 6 millimeters here and 6 millimeters here. The total will be 12 in addition to the 28, then we will end up with 40. This is critical, and many people make mistake with this offset thing. So all the time it's half the diameter difference. Now Let's sketch this. As you can see, the distance here is 55 and the radius, or sorry, the diameter is 7. So sketch a circle and set these to be vertical. This distance should be 55 divided by 2, and this diameter is 7. Then we have another circle here, or part of a circle, which is 7.5 in radius. So draw another circle and set the diameter to 15. Now, as you can see, we have two tangent lines here. Now select a line and start from the circle. Move the mouse until you get the tangent line here. Now we have tangency here and we have tangency here, and that's it. Then we have a straight line. Select a line and from the quadrant point here, go all the way down until you get vertical. Now sketch two center lines, one in this direction and the other one in this direction. Now mirror this line and this line about this line and do the necessary trims. Like here, we won't use this and this. Now mirror entities again, and this time select these, and all should be mirrored about this line. Now, as you can see, we have a slot here, a straight slot. So this distance is 32.5 and this distance is 15. Select straight slot, move the mouse here, and then move it this way until you got the horizontal relation, then draw your slot. This way you set the horizontal relation here, so there's no need to define it again. Now this distance is 32.5 and this is 5.5 and this is 15. Let's double check this. Since this is 11, so this should be the radius 5.5 and this is 15 and 32.5. Now we have this as 18, so 18 minus 11, this will give us 7. 7 divided by 2, this is the value of the offset. So this should be 3.5 and offset this. SolidWorks treats this slot as 1 unit. So in the end, you may need to delete this and delete these. Then pick a line. And this part is critical because if you move this way, you will have a horizontal line. But if you proceed here, you will have another relation and this line will no longer be horizontal. So what I suggest here is that extend it somewhere here and make sure it's horizontal. Then do it again here until it's horizontal. Now just trim these. And now everything is fine. I will show you what will happen if you don't do this. Like for now, check the distance between these, and since they are parallel, we have this distance. But if I delete this and move the mouse and move until you get this, now should give us an angle dimension. Yeah. That means these lines are not parallel to each other, so this one is a mistake. Now let's check some dimensions. Let's check the big circle here, which is 40, and that's correct. And we already did it here, which is 18. That's it for this practice. Thanks for watching and see you in the next exercise. Hello again. Here we go with another practice. As usual, the best starting point in this case will be this point. So now we have the first circle of 35 millimeters diameter and the second one is of 50 millimeters diameter. So hit Ctrl A and clear the screen. Sketch a circle, and this should be 35 and the other one should be 50. Now we have another two circles here. The first diameter is 20 and 30. So this one is 20 and this one is 30. And now these should be horizontal and the distance between them is 80. Here we have a tangent arc and the radius is 166. So you can draw an arc, 3-point arc here. Select this circle and select this one and then drag it here. Set this to 166 and set these to be tangent and these to be tangent. So now we have this arc and it's the same as this one. So let's sketch it but using another way. So select perimeter circle and make sure to start your tangency here, not here, because you can tell here like our tangency starts somewhere here and it starts somewhere here. So you need to pick a close location. So this one is good and then this one is good. Make sure not to move the mouse, just click the third click now. If you move the mouse, I'll show you what will happen now. So pick it again. Now this is my first tangent. The second one, now when you move the mouse, you will have many different options and it will be hard to locate the tangency as you want. So for me, I prefer to do it this way. Start here, then select your second tangency, somewhere here. Then without moving the mouse, just click the third click and place the circle. Now trim this part and select this and make equal. Now we need to draw this part. So we have a center line and the length is 70. So start a center line here. Set the length. And now we need to define the angle. So the angle here is 35. So draw a vertical center line and then set the angle between them to 35. Now everything is ready, just we need to make these horizontal. Now we have this polygon. As you can see, since we have this distance, you should think about making a circumscribed circle polygon. So let's see this. Select polygon, number of sides is 6, and this time select circumscribed circle. Start here and draw something like this. The reason why we chose this type, the circumscribed, because now we can simply just set a diameter for this circle, like here. But let me show you the other case. If you select inscribed circle, it's not wrong, but this time you will need to define a distance between this point and this point. So I prefer to set a diameter, not a distance. That's why I choose circumscribed circle, and then draw this and give this circle a diameter of 20. And we need another relation here. As you can see, this line is perpendicular with this line. So select this line, and then set them to perpendicular. We have a fully defined sketch until now. The diameter of this circle is 35. So we need to draw a circle of 35 millimeters diameter. And finally, we need to place some arcs here. So the radius is 50. So I'll pick this circle. We said the radius is 50, yes. And here. And then trim this part and set this to 50. As you can see, we have this part, so just trim it now. And you can use the 3-point arc. You can select this circle and select this one, and then you can define the tangency, and finally make them equal. Hide the dimensions. You can also show the relations here, like we have the view sketch relations, so you can tell which relations you have. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next exercise. Hello again. Now we are going to sketch this drawing. There's a very important point we should learn from this drawing. Whenever you have to sketch any sketch, I want you always to look for the symmetry. Like, if we have a look at this sketch here, we can say that this part is symmetric about this center line here. And this whole part is symmetric about a center line here. And this arc is symmetric about a center line here. Based on that, you should choose where to start. So in this case, we will consider this point as our origin point, and that's why we need to start somewhere here. To start, we have this circle of radius 15 and we have the circle of radius 10. So sketch a circle, give it a diameter of 20, then sketch another circle and give it a diameter of 30. Now, this distance is 40 and this distance is 25. So the distance from the origin to this point is 25, and from here to here is 40. Now, since we have this, we can mirror it to have this one. So draw a center line and make these points horizontal. Now, mirror entities, we want to mirror these two circles about this center line. This arc is of radius 30. Draw any random arc, something like this, and define the relations. Tangent, tangent. For me, I will drag these, then trim them at once. And the radius here is 30. So 30 units. Now draw another center line from this point to this point. Exit the command and mirror this arc about this center line. As you can see, we have some trims to do here. So, trim entities, zoom in, select this part, and this part, and this part. Now, draw another center line here, and select these points to be vertical. Mirror the whole thing about this line. And now draw an arc here, make it tangent to this one, and make it tangent to this one. Drag it, and the radius is 30, so we can use this. And trim it at once. Finally, we can mirror this arc about this center line, then OK. As you can see, it's very important to study any drawing before you start, so you can decide which is the best method you can use, so you can save time. Hello again, let's make this drawing. To start, we have this polygon. It's a 6-side polygon with a circumscribed circle. The diameter of the circle is 40. So pick a polygon, set the number of sides to 6, and the type to circumscribed circle. Then the diameter is 40. As you can see now, the circle is fully defined, but the polygon is not. And that's because you can rotate it about the origin. As you can see here, we have this line as a vertical line. So let's set this to vertical. Now we have a fully defined polygon. Again, we have another circle here with diameter of 70. So sketch another circle and set the diameter to 70. Now we have this circle with diameter of 16 and distance of 90. First, make horizontal. Then set this to 16 and the distance is 90. Now draw another circle here, since we still don't know the radius. You can calculate it, but let's do it in another way. As you can see, we have a distance between the end of the drawing here and the center of this polygon of 110. So select a center line, and once you get this quadrant point, just put the mouse over the circle, and once you get it, draw a vertical line, and now set this distance to 110. Now draw a random arc like this and make it tangent here and tangent here. Now, as you can see from the drawing, we have this distance to be 35. It's by the end of the arc and to the center of the circle. So from this point, draw a horizontal center line and make it tangent to the arc, then make it tangent to the circle, and we already defined the tangency here. Now just to trim these. Draw another center line, then mirror this part. Finally, we need to trim this part. Thanks for watching. Hello again. In this practice, we will try to sketch this drawing. For me, I will start with these two circles, then we will move on. So the first circle is 36 units diameter, and the second one is 60 units diameter. So let's start in the origin here. So the first one is 36, and sketch another one of 60. Let's sketch these three circles. As you can see, they lie on an arc of 64 units radius. We can simply sketch this arc, or we can sketch a circle. For me, I prefer to sketch a circle, then draw a vertical line, then another one here. Let's set this value. Pay attention here, because we already sketched the circle, we need to indicate the diameter, not the radius. So it will be 64 multiplied by 2. By the way, you can enter any relations you want here, and they will be calculated. So 64 multiplied by 2, then okay, and this will be 128. And as you can see here, we have this angle, which is 30. So let's define this. And finally, this circle is not part of our sketch, so we need to convert it, to a construction geometry. Select the circle, and from the small menu here, select construction geometry, or simply go to options and select for construction. Now, sketch a circle, and another one. Now the diameter of this circle is listed here. We have 4, which means 4 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the diameter is 12. So set the diameter to 12, then select the circle, hold Control, select this one, then make equal. We have another part of circle, which is 10 units radius. So let's sketch this here. Again, the diameter will be 20. Now, since we have this circle and we have this one, we can sketch this arc. This arc is a 12 units radius. So sketch a 3-point arc here, something like this. Then define the relations. We need a tangent here, and we need another tangent here. Set the radius. Then grab these points and trim them at once. Make sure not to trim the center line. Now let's define this circle here. So draw any two circles. The diameter of this one will be equal to the diameter of this one, and we have radius of 12 here. So the diameter of this will be 12 multiplied by 2. Finally, we need to set this point to be vertical with this point, and we need to set this distance, which is 125. So between the origin and this point is 125 units. Now we are ready to set this arc. So draw any random arc, but with this direction, then set the relations as we did. And finally we need to set the radius, which is 54. Now trim this part and this part. Finally, we have a line here. So sketch a line and make it tangent to the circle and tangent here, and select this point with this circle and make coincident, and you can zoom in and do the same here. Now we can mirror everything we did. So mirror entities, we need to mirror them about this line, then this line, and this circle, and this one will be mirrored. We need to do some trims now. The first one is here. Don't worry about this for now, just to proceed with the trimming. As you can see, now we no longer have a fully defined sketch. The message says no solution found. In other words, we have defined more relations than we need, and most of the time it occurs when you mirror parts or group of parts. That's why you need to eliminate one of these yellow dimensions or relations. So in this case, let's just delete this one. And as you can see, the sketch is fully defined. Later on in this course, we will have a video talking about over-defined sketches and how to convert them to a fully defined and how to deal with it when it happens. Hello everybody and welcome again. In this exercise, we are going to sketch this drawing. We will start here. So I'll draw a circle of 80 units diameter. So pick a circle and place the diameter to 80. Now I have this slot. I will take a midpoint line, make it horizontal, then give this dimension 17.5 and turn it into a construction geometry. Now pick a center point arc slot and start from the origin up to here, then create the slot. Now the radius is 7.5, so set this radius to 7.5. So my sketch is fully defined now. So now I will create this part of the drawing. So I have an arc here with a radius of 12, then a straight line, then a tangent arc, then a straight line again, then a tangent arc again. I'll start with center point arc, give it a dimension, the radius is 12, and make these points horizontal. Now pick a line, go up a little bit back, then up again to create this arc, then go up again, then a little bit back, then make the other arc. Now let's set some relations. First of all, these 3 points should be horizontal, and this point with this point should be vertical. Now this radius is 9.5, so let's set it to 9.5, and this radius is a 3, so let's set this to 3. We have this distance of 28. And finally we have this distance of 14. So between this point and this point, 14. Now draw a center line here and select mirror entities, select this line, this arc, and this line, then mirror them about this line. Now try to drag. Now we need to set some relations, so select this point with this point, then make vertical, and the distance between them is 82. So between this point and this point, this should be 82. Now we need to place a slot here from this point and from this point. So select straight slot, snap to this point, move the mouse, snap to the other one, then create the slot. As you can tell here, the radius is 22, so set this radius to 22. As you can see, everything is fully defined now, so we can proceed. Now we have this part of an arc, then this line is tangent to this part and to it. So since the center of this arc is here and the radius is 32, let's draw a circle here and let's set the radius, the diameter to 32 multiplied by 2. Now let the line snap with this and let it snap with this. Then exit the command. As you can see, this line is tangent here and it's a tangent here. Now we have another curve here. Since we have this circle and this circle here, and we need two tangents now, I recommend using perimeter circle. Select it from the ribbon and select this circle and select this one, and then move the mouse until you get it to the right position, like this. Now you can trim it, then set this radius to 30. Draw a center line and mirror this line and this arc about this center line. Now, as you can see, we have a lot of constraints and we have a lot of dimensions, and it's not clear for us to work. So from here, pick these. Okay, now let's do some trims. First of all, this area is clear and this area is clear. So trim entities, we don't want these. Then we don't want this segment, not this one, not this one, and this one. I think everything is correct now. Let's double check it. Yeah, now you can show the dimensions and you can show the constraints. Thanks for watching. See you on the next exercise. Hello again and welcome to this exercise. In this exercise, we will sketch this drawing. Let's start with this part here. We have two circles. The first diameter is 24 and the second diameter is 32. So, sketch a circle, give it the first diameter, which is 24, then give this another diameter, which is 32. Now we need to sketch these two circles, and the diameters here are the same as in here. So we have this horizontal distance and we have this vertical distance. To begin, from the ribbon, select Copy Entities. Make sure to keep this, then select the first circle, then the second one. Then our start point will be the center point. Now, just take them and place them here. Now, let's set this diameter to be equal to this one, and let's set this diameter to be equal to this one. We need to define the vertical distance, which is 112 divided by 2. and this distance is 41. Now, we know that this distance is 106, so we can copy entities again, select these, and select the center point, and drag it up to here. Now set the relations again, and let's set this distance to 106. And make sure that this center line is horizontal to this center line. Now, let's set this arc. The radius is 50. The fastest way is to draw a perimeter circle, something like this, then trim it, and set this to 50. For now, let's drag these here. As you can see from the drawing, we have a circle here, and we have an arc, then a tangent line, then an arc again. And we have this circle here. It's obvious that this circle is horizontal. I mean, the center lines are horizontal to each other here. And the radius is 12. So let's start with this. And this point is vertical to this one. We can double check with this distance. Let's see. So I'll draw a circle. I'll make it vertical with this one, and I'll make it horizontal with this one. And finally, the radius is 12, which is equal to this one. As you can see, we have a fully defined circle. Now let's check this distance. So smart dimension from here to here, which is correct. Now, since this dimension is not needed, because we already defined the distances using relations, you have the option to keep it here, but it will be a driven dimension. In other words, you won't be able to double click and change it. So let's keep it for now, or simply exit the command, select it, then delete it. It will make our drawing less crowded. Now we have to sketch another circle here, and as you can see, the radius is 28. So from the same center point, sketch a circle, and this should be set to 28 multiplied by 2. Then we have two circles here. Let's sketch them. 1, 2. The first radius is 6, and the other radius is 10. So this should be 12, and this should be 20. And we need this point to be vertical with this one. And finally, the distance is 92 divided by 2. So select this point, and set this to 92 by 2. Now draw a center line from this point to this point. And let's draw these lines. So pick a line, start here, and end it here. Do the same on the other side. Now let's do some trims. We don't need this, and obviously we don't need this. Now select mirror entities, and select this part, and these two lines and mirror them about this line, like this. Now trim the rest, we don't need this part. And here we don't need these, and these, and this. As you can see, we have a part that is not a fully defined part now, which is this circle. Let's try to see what's the problem now. The thing is that we don't have a diameter. In this case, we need a radius to be more specific. So let's set this relation again. Now it's fully defined. Now the whole upper part can be mirrored now to be here. So select mirror again. Select these. Then mirror them about this line. Now let's create this part. As you can see, this part is 50 units diameter, and its center lies here, in the middle between these 2 points. So now, select these and move them here. Draw a center line between these 2 circles, and draw a circle and snap until you get the midpoint symbol. As you can see, this symbol means coincident and this one means midpoint, so you should snap until you get this one. Something like this. Now set the diameter to 100 and sketch a 3-point circle, 1, 2, and something like this. Then trim it, and as you can see here, we have this radius of 20. So set this radius to 20 units. Now you need to trim this part, and this one, and this. Now simply mirror this part about this center line, and trim again. We no longer need this or this. Now let's hide the dimensions and the relations for a while. As you can see, we're almost done. We still need to create this part and to mirror this part. So now, only show the dimensions. Now, sketch a center line between these 2 circles, and from the midpoint again, draw another center line. Mirror entities, select this arc, this one, and mirror them about this line. Now, we need to create this part here. And as you can see, its center point lies here. So we have a radius of 32. So, sketch a center point arc from here, then start here, and end it somewhere here. Now the radius is 32. So set this radius to 32. And we have a fully defined arc. The last part of the drawing is this part, which is something very close to a straight slot. So select stretch slot from the ribbon, snap to the midpoint here, and it's better to move until somewhere here, then draw the slot. Now the radius is 22, so set this to 22 units. Now drag this point somewhere here and try to trim it. As you can see this message which says this trim operation will destroy the slot entity. You want to continue, then say OK, because this entity will no longer be a slot. So we need to redefine some relations now. Now let's see what happened. So this line is no longer a horizontal line. So make it horizontal, then make it parallel with this one. And I don't think here we don't have any tangency anymore. So snap it here and make it coincident with this point. Now we have a small radius of 4 units here. So place a perimeter circle here, here, and here. Trim it and set the radius to 4. Then we need to trim this part here, and we need to make a mirror to this arc about this line and make the necessary trims, or simply you can drag this point up to here. Now let's hide the dimensions and have a final look. This drawing is a little bit tricky because it has many dimensions, which makes the sketch a little bit crowded, which causes problems in some cases. So make sure that always you can use this option and you can use this. As you can see now, it's crazy crowded and there's no point of viewing it this way. So get rid of the dimensions and get rid of the relations, then you can see your drawing. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Hello again. It's the time to sketch something real. So on this exercise, we'll sketch this hook. My start point will be this horizontal line. The length is 18. So select midpoint line and sketch a horizontal midpoint line. Then set the length to 18. Now, as you can see, we have this arc and this one. The center of this arc is here, and the center of this arc, as indicated, is here. And the distance between the line we sketched and this center is 54 units. So let's start with a circle here and make sure it's vertical with this line, and the diameter is 24 and the vertical distance is 54. Now we have another arc, but this time we have a small offset here. So the diameter of this arc is 29 multiplied by 2. Now draw a circle, make these center points horizontal, then the diameter is 29 multiplied by 2. Finally, we have this offset distance, which is 5. So set this distance to 5 units. As you can see here, we have a straight line and we have another one here. Let's start with this one. Sketch a straight line, any random one. Then we have a small arc here with 36 units radius. So let's sketch an arc like this here and make it tangent here, and as you can see there's a tangency here too, so make it tangent to the circle. Finally, we need to set this radius, which is 36. Then trim this part. Do the same here. Sketch any vertical line, and we have an arc with a radius of 24 units. So something similar. Then set the relations. If you have this problem, just drag it here, and we have another tangency here, and finally the radius is 24. Then make the trim here, and we can trim this part now. As you can see, this part now is done. Now we need to work in this part. So let's start with this part. We have a radius of 24 and we have an offset of 9 units. So this arc is connected to this one with tangency here. So sketch an arc, something like this here. Then set these to tangent. Then set the radius to 24. And finally, we need this offset, which is 9. So drag this a little bit here and set this distance to 9. So now we can trim this part and we can trim this part. As you can see here, we have this arc of radius 2. So draw an arc here and make it tangent here and give it a radius of 2. Now we still need to make this part here. We have an arc of radius 14 and the center point of the arc is horizontal with the center point of this arc. So sketch an arc from here, something like this. The first thing is that we have a tangent here and this point is horizontal with this one, and the radius is 14. And finally we have tangency here. Now drag these and trim it, and trim this part and this part. As you see, we have everything fully defined until now. Now we still need to sketch this part. So the height is 23 and the length is 14. So pick a corner rectangle, select this line and select the origin point, then make midpoint. Now this is 23 units and the width is 14. Finally, we have a chamfer here. It's 2 multiplied by 45 degrees. So sketch chamfer, set the value to 2, equal distance, then select this point and this one. Finally, we have a line here. drag this point back. Hide dimensions. So we have a fully defined sketch.